I just want to say, y'all singing sounds very nice this morning. It's a trend I'm noticing. I'm going to give you credit instead of Ben, just so we're clear. So how is everyone doing on your Lenten fast? Good? Okay. Good. I was counting on you not doing well. So if you are doing well, you can go have a smoke break. The sermon may not apply to you. So I have failed in my fast. I do it every year, and it's not that I pick anything that's all that hard necessarily. Things happen. Life happens. Things happen. And this Lent particularly has proven especially challenging to me, but such is the nature of Lent. Lent is a season for failing. It's a season for getting knocked down. It's a season for falling off the proverbial horse. However, the lesson to be learned in Lent is more than to get back up and dust yourselves off, though you should. The lesson to be learned by our failure is that if our salvation, our redemption, our rescue from the suffering and defeat that so characterizes our lives, if that rescue, that salvation is dependent upon us getting it right, we're in trouble. But if our salvation, if our redemption, if our rescue is dependent upon the goodness of the God who created the heavens and the earth, who has put the breath in your lungs and the blood in your veins, then we can have what is called the assurance of faith, also known as hope. Abraham took up his family and carried them out of the land that they had known on the promise that God would deliver him to a new land, that God would make him a mighty people, and that through him all the families of the earth will be blessed. Abraham had no scriptures. He had no tradition. He had no saints or patriarchs or matriarchs, no forebears in the faith to look on for help or encouragement. He had nothing but his faith, his trust that God's promises were not only good, but that God could fulfill the promise he had made. He had only the assurance that his faith could provide, and he acted on it. St. Paul, looking back on Abraham's journey, notes that Abraham's faith was reckoned to him as righteousness. Now, I make this joke every time this reading comes up, but that is evidence in column 1 that God is a Southerner, because he reckoned him righteous. And so, Abraham's righteousness was not because he followed Torah. The Torah had not yet been given. His righteousness was not because he kept the feasts and the fasts. There were none. Abraham was not righteous because he did everything right. He was righteous because he trusted God. So, if you are depending on yourself, your own willpower, your own skills and acumen, this season should teach you that none of that will be enough. You've kept your fast, that's wonderful. The words from Ash Wednesday are still true. Remember, you are dust, and to dust you will return. You've done everything you're supposed to do. That's good, and you should be commended. But war and famine and pestilence and plague still ravage the world. The innocents still suffer. If this world is to be healed, if anything good is to be made out of all this evil, if death is to be crushed, it will not be by us. We have our part to play, and it's important that we do the good we can where we can. But ultimately, everything will depend upon God fulfilling his promise. And so, do you believe that God will be true to his word? Do you believe that the God who created the heavens and the earth will deliver you? Do you believe that the great I Am, who called Abraham from the comfort and security of his home, will call you from the grave? Do you believe that this Ancient of Days, who spoke to Moses from the burning bush and delivered the Hebrews from their slavery in Egypt, do you believe that he will deliver you from your slavery to sin and death? Do you believe that this God, this King of the universe who transformed the lives of these Galilean fishermen and made them saints, do you believe that he can transform your life as well? The God of Abraham calls to each of us with a promise that if we but trust in him, go where he calls us to go, no matter our fear or failures, we will behold his face. He has given us the assurance of our faith. In the witness passed down through the generations, we have what Abraham never did. In his holy word, in the sacraments of the church, in the calling of Israel to be his people, and above all, in Jesus Christ, the Word made flesh. In God's becoming a human person, he has effectively said to us, I am serious about my relationship with you. I did not create you to abandon you. I did not give you life for you to lie in death. I did not insist on your holiness for you to wallow in sin. So now, are we going to sit around and wail and moan, or are we going to put our trust in God, who gives life to the dead and calls into existence the things that are not? You failed in your fast. I'm sorry. Get up, try again. Do what good you can and leave the rest to God. You've succeeded in your fast. Well done. Do what good you can and leave the rest to God.